Hello, this is John Simons with Mojave Paint. I just wanted to give you a quick demo of. So I saw this thread on Reddit for in the Affinity subreddit asking how to make halftone edges that fade out with a halftone on your image. And so I was going to show how to do that in Mojave Paint real quick here. Let's see. So bring up this image here. This is the Crochet Museum in Joshua Tree. And so the first step for this would be to make a black and white image where it's white in the corner, the edges fall off black. And so to do that, we'd make a new layer. We'd go ahead and fill it with black here. And then probably the easiest way is we can modify this selection to contract it in 50 pixels. From here, we could feather, and if we do a feathering of say 50 pixels like this, you can't see the feather really in marching ants mode very well, but you just go into quick mask mode, and then you can see it. That's okay. The corners are a little rounded, maybe more rounded than we want. So instead of that, let's do this. Let's go, let's make this and then contract it again. Select, modify, contract, 50 pixels. So if we do that, and then we can switch into quick mask, and we can, from here we can use any of the filters. When we feather selection, it's basically doing a Gaussian blur on it. We could do box blur, which should preserve the square corners a little better. So if we go in here in 50, yeah, a little bit. And then from here, we exit quick mask mode. Now we have a selection. We do X to swap the colors, foreground colors white, and now we just do Option backspace to fill it. So now we have our black and white image with the edges falling off, and it's symmetrical. So from here, we just activate the pixelate monochrome halftone, and the default actually looks pretty good on this one. You can play with the dot size. We could rotate the screen. Threshold we probably want to leave alone. Jitter is really used for photos to avoid color banding. It makes it so that the little halftone dots are a little more staggered and progressive in how they add pixels to themselves. Anti-aliasing, you can see here, if we turn that off, these are hard binary black and white, and then if we turn it on, they're a little softer. That doesn't matter too much here. Okay, so now we got this. Now we want to use it as a alpha mask. So all we do here is we'd go ahead and click the layer in question, click the alpha mask icon, which is kind of a universal icon for alpha masks, the circle and a rectangle. And click that, so that it starts filled with white. So you go back to this layer, you'd select all, copy, then you'd go into the alpha mask and paste. Turn this off so you can see it. Normally when you paste pixels in Mojave Paint, it normally creates a new layer because you'd want to position it and then merge it down. But if you have an alpha mask selected, it pastes directly into the mask. And so yeah, there you go. You got the little halftone dots on the edges. And so from here, you can't kind of live edit the halftone options and see it applied as a mask. If you wanted to do that, we could undo all this, and we could do everything in place on the mask. And the pros of that are you can play with the mask settings or on the halftone settings and see them. The downsides are you can't exactly see what you're doing in black and white like you could the first way we did this. So let's do this again real quick here. So we'll just start with a mask, and then we'll recreate all the steps we did before. We will go ahead and fill it with black, and then we'll contract the selection 50 pixels, and go ahead and quick mask and filter blur, box blur of 50 pixel radius. And then we have this selection on there. We'll go ahead and fill that with white. Bam. Okay, so now we have this. Deselect. I have to deselect here because otherwise only the selected region would be affected by the halftone filter. And so we go here and turn this on. So now in this mode, we can actually play with this and see it applied to a real image, which is kind of nice. And so maybe this is the better way to do it. And so you go like this, you play with this however you want. You can do threshold isn't super useful in this case because it would Yeah, I think probably just 50-50. And with most of these controls, you can double click the label to reset it to the default position. So double click threshold, and you get back to 50. Um, Preview on and off. And so, yeah, so then you apply that. So that's kind of part A of this. Part B is, let's delete this and start over here. Delete layer mask. So these, let's say you wanted kind of more perfect fall off. So much like mitered corners, that's kind of like picture frame pieces cut at 45-degree angles, glued together. If you wanted to do that, I think you'd want to use the gradient tool. And so let's create a new layer here. And so we have black and white here, which I think we'd want reversed. So if we go here like this, so if you go here, and then we hold shift to make it straight. So you can do this, if you did from the other side, these gradients go all the way across the whole document, so you'd be blowing away your first one. You could use a selection here so that you're only going within the selection, and then you could do gradient like this. And yeah, that works for those sides, but then what do you do about the corners? So I think whenever you don't know what to do in a program like this, the first thing you should think of is blend modes, because they're very powerful and they open up a lot of options. And so I think the way you'd want to do this here is 4 layers, and then we'll combine them with blend modes. So we have layer 1. We could name these if we want to. This is, right. And then let's go ahead and add 3 more layers. And then each one, we'll go ahead and put in a gradient. So I have the top one here. I'll have the left one here. And then the bottom one here. So now we have 4 layers. We got to figure out which blend mode is the one we want to use to combine them. Just because I've played around with this already, darken does kind of a min-max, which is exactly what we want here. So we do that, darken, darken, and darken. And so now we have our 4 sides that have a linear fall off. And if we wanted not linear, we could certainly do not linear. With the gradient tool, you could go in here, because you can move this kind of midpoint to make it more of a kind of parabolic, or yeah, I think it is a quadratic fall off. But right now we just have it linear. And so then we go ahead and Command E, Command E, Command E, merge down. We have all 4 sides, and from there we proceed just as we did before. We can select all, copy, go in here, make a new mask, paste it there. I turn this off, and then we can go ahead and do our halftone, and there you go. So yeah, that's my quick demo. I do want to make this maybe a regular series, like weekly, like find some thread on Reddit, either in the Photoshop channel or in the Affinity channel, and just kind of show how to do it in Mojave Paint. But thanks for watching. Okay.